today I'm going to show you how to remove and clean the fuel system from your 94 Sea-Doo SPX. It's all nasty in here, so I'm going to take it all out and make sure none of it's ended up in the gas tank or inside the oil tank as well. So first step, we're going to take these straps off. 1, 2, 3, and there's one on the oil tank back here. Let's take them off, grab it. See if I can get you back in here. Grab it, push it down, pull it out. I usually just take them off both ends, take them out, set them to the side. You would do that for all 3 of them. There's 2. They are different sizes sometimes, so try to keep them in order: front, middle, back. So the last one is a little bit trickier to get to. It's back in here in this nest of wires. Okay, let's try and get this side off. Maybe we can reach it a little bit better. Maybe not. Okay, I think I almost got it. Push it down. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can get this off and I'll be back. Okay, so I actually just looked on the other side of the ski if it would be easier to get it off, and it's like right there. So this should be easier to get it from this end. See if I can get the camera in here. It's right here, pulled off. Now we go in the other end of it. Pick it up, see if we can fish it off of there and pull it out. There's the last one. Okay, now we need to undo our clamps. There are 2 on this. You only need to take off this bottom one. So just loosen this bottom one, loosen this. I go ahead and take this one off as well, just so I can get some more access in here. And we need to take those off on the oil inlet where you fill up the oil. We need to take at least one of those off. Probably better to just, I'm just going to take the top one off, I think. All right, so go ahead and do that and I'll be back. All right, I got all my clamps loosened. So now we have to get all of the lines off of the oil system. There's 2 going under here. Let's see if that'll focus. Okay, so we just need to get this one off. There's the one. The other, we got some oil running out. That's okay. I'm just gonna let it all drip out into here because I am cleaning out the entire ski because it's already pretty nasty. So that one's off. The next one, I think we'll be able to get it from back here. Look under here, spins around here. It's already kind of disconnected, but we're just gonna go ahead and take this end off as well. It's just a zip tie. Old zip ties, you can break them with your fingers usually. Otherwise you might have to cut it off. I'm just gonna twist and pull. Try not to break this because it's plastic. That's off. That's the oil filter line. Set that aside. The third oil line is actually up on top of the tank. You can see it right here. Move my finger. Right here, this big clear one. There's no oil in it. But we're gonna see if we can get it off. off. We'll come over here, grab it, pull it down, tuck it out of the way somewhere. Push that one down so it'll drip down there. Now our oil sensor wire, focus, back here. It runs all the way to here. It's these purple with a white stripe and pink color wires. So we're just going to unplug those. Got that out. See if we can pull it through without having to cut this zip tie. I think we're gonna have to cut it. So cut the zip tie, fish it out of this clamp too, and it'll be disconnected from here. All right, let's do that. All right, now that we've got the oil line disconnected, oil sensor wire, we have to take off the fuel filter. Let's see if I can get this to zoom in back there. It's just the one 10mm nut on the top. It's in a little bit of a tight spot. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take it off, and then I'll be back. Okay, the next step is we need to get these fuel lines off of the baffle. I had to cut 2 of them. I just used some cutter pliers, cut the clamps. You can cut the fuel line if you want, since you need to replace these fuel lines if they're this gray color. Anyway, look how stiff these things are. That's not good. But the other 2, I was just able to just pull them off of there. They weren't in there too well. So now we can just move those all out of the way. These are so stiff you can't even bend them. Okay, let's see if we can get the ones off the fuel filter to pull off. Just kind of got to wiggle them back and forth sometimes. I don't think they're gonna come off. So I need to take the whole fuel filter out anyways. It's just held on by this one nut. It's 10mm. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that off, and I'll disconnect these fuel lines. But if you're not taking your fuel filter out, you can probably still slide the oil tank out, but I take it out anyways because I'm replacing the fuel filter and cleaning it. But you could just take these off if you think you can slide the oil tank out without it. All right, I'm gonna do that. Okay, I got the fuel filter out. Went ahead and put the nut back on top of this thing. That way we don't lose it. I wasn't able to get in there to cut the lines off because they were those factory seated clamps. They were just kind of far back in there. So I just cut the fuel line about this far out. And then once I got them off, I was able to get with some pliers and cut the clamps off and then pry the lines off. The lines were still on there pretty good. They were pretty good in there. So we'll just set this to the side and we'll clean it up later and maybe replace the filter if it's pretty bad. But next, we get in here, set the socket wrench to the side. We're gonna get in here, find your fuel baffle, the line that goes off the baffle up here. Make sure it's the right one. And we're gonna disconnect it. It's the one with green and black wires. So disconnect that. A little bit hard to do one-handed, but probably doable. There we go. It's disconnected, so we're gonna grab it, pull it through. And now we have that off. Now, we're gonna need to get I like to get a flathead screwdriver, just like these little 6-way screwdrivers, whatever, and stick it under this baffle. These are already loose. You have to loosen these. So we're gonna take it, stick it up under here, pry up, go on the other side, pry up. Just get on each side that you can. I'm not sure I can get back on there. So we've pried it up. Now I'm gonna take my hand, pull back here, wiggle it till it all comes out. It's a pretty tight squeeze in here. So you just gotta kind of navigate some things out of the way if you can. Smell of old gas is sickening. So now we're gonna just see if we can angle it over some. Not break anything, obviously. Keep wiggling, keep wiggling. It's almost there. See if we can. Ah, these fuel lines are what's in the way. See if we can angle it this way. There we go. And it's out. Just watch out because that smell hits you in the face. Probably a good idea to wear a respirator or a mask, especially gloves. Never do this without gloves, because that old gas probably very irritable on your skin. You don't know what else is down in here. Like you saw all that crust that was built up on here. I found a dead mouse in this ski, so it's just a really good idea to wear gloves and a mask, which everybody seems to have plenty of these days. This is the fuel baffle. It actually looks to be in okay shape. If you fill float slides ish. We're missing our little, there's usually a screen that goes on here. I assume it's down in the tank somewhere. Maybe we'll be able to shake it off, shake it out. This should work, but we can bench test it whenever we get to that point. The float controls what goes, the float goes up and down, and it has metal on it, and it contacts those diodes back there, and as it goes down it tells you the different fuel level, which then runs through the wiring harness to there, and it runs all the way up to this gauge, and each one is the different mark on here. See, there's probably 8 different diodes in here, and we've got 4 different marks, so it's probably 1, 1, 0, half, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4. That's probably what it is. But I hope this works. I've actually never on the Sea-Doo did the gauge work, but the way this fuel baffle is looking, there is a repair kit for it if it doesn't work, but we'll test that in another video probably. Set that to the side. Now, where are we? Pull these lines out of the way. Now I'm going to take this screwdriver again, get up under this intake hose. This one's on there pretty good. I wonder if I'll be able to pull it off of here a little bit easier. Looks like if we pinch this, pull back, there you go, it'll pull off. It's just a rubber hose, so I don't think you'll hurt it or anything. Wow, that gas smell again. Set the clamp to the side, don't lose that. Now let's see if we can get it off here. See if this actually pretty clean in there. We'll set that to the side. Now, our next step, it looks like we have everything disconnected except this oil inlet. Let's try and do the same thing we did with the gas. Pinch it and pull it without putting a hole in it. I'm thinking we might need to take the bottom clamp off. So we're gonna go the other side and see if we can get in there from here. It looks like it's right there. See if I can get this focus. Now let's find our flathead bit again. Not drop it. Now, let's see if we can pry this one up. It worked for a second. Very greasy and slippery. Screwdriver keeps sliding out. Okay, I think I've about got it out to where I can get it with my hand at least. There we go. All right, now I got it off. So we're gonna come back here on the other side and pull this entire tank out. If I can do it one-handed. There we go. There's your oil tank or reservoir, whatever you want to call it. Just set it out here in the dirt. There actually was a little bit of oil in there. Pretty nasty oil. We're gonna clean that out real good. That's why we take these off, because not sure how much the engine internals would like that coming out of there. Now, for our gas tank. Everything should be disconnected from the gas tank. I can double check. I think we're good to go. Gas tanks can sometimes be pretty tricky, but it should just lift. Oh wow, there's actually fuel in here. So lift. I'm not gonna be able to do this one-handed, but we're gonna pick this end up and slide it out of this right here. That's the plan, at least. All right, so the gas tank came out relatively easy. You just need two hands. Probably don't if it's empty, but mine wasn't empty. It didn't slosh out in there, so it wasn't too much gas in there. But you really need to make sure you wear a mask or a respirator of some sort, because this gas is disgusting. It'll make you gag, that's for sure. Had to come out here and get some fresh air. Let's check out the gas in there. That's why we take our gas tanks out and clean them, because there's no telling what else is in there. Probably our little fuel baffle filter. But this is the mess we get left with. So this just really helps you wash out the inside of your ski really good. And it's also a good thing since I'm doing a restoration project like this one on this 94 SPX that has probably never been cleaned, at least not in the past 20 or so years, it's a good idea to take it out, check the gas tank. This is the second one I've had to do. The other one was actually a lot more difficult than this. But yeah, it's all out now. You can see our electronics box, we didn't have to touch it. All our fuel lines, we'll be replacing those. Probably do that in a separate video, as well as the fuel filter. But there you go. Alright guys, that's all for today. Remember to drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe for more jet ski rehab. Today I'm going to show you how to remove the fuel selector valve from your 94 Sea-Doo SPX. This actually works on every Sea-Doo model that has the fuel valve on the side. The ones that's right here, a little bit different. Like my 89 SP, it's a lot different because it's up here. You have to take it off a different way. First step for this is we have to take our fuel lines off. I cut these off just because the clamps were so gummed up that I wasn't able to get to them. So, next step, you need a pick. You can pick these pick sets up at like Harbor Freight for a few dollars. Like I think I paid $1 and it came with 4 of them. Had a coupon. But we're gonna take this little cap right here, stick the pick under there, pry it up real gentle. Don't break it. It's old plastic. Pops right out. Set that to the side. Now there's a little Phillips head screwdriver and Phillips head screw in there. I'm gonna take some PB Blaster just in case this thing's really in there. Let that sit for a second. I'll spray some on the other side. I'm not worried about getting stuff on the inside of this ski because it's a mess as it is. I'm cleaning it out. I'll show that in another video. You think this was bad? This is after I vacuumed it out twice. Still got all this nastiness down in there. So, gonna have to check on that. Clean it up later. Okay. Now I'm gonna take Phillips head screwdriver, see if we can get this out. Make sure this is turned all the way to the left. Thing is in there really good. Change screwdrivers. Let me set this down and see if I can get it out. Okay, I finally got it broke loose. So I used the impact, push really hard. Got this bit that was a little bit more squared out on the tip because it was a little bit stripped out, so that comes out. Now the knob, well, come out. All right, it's all the way out. I'm gonna take some pliers, some vice grips, pull on it, there it goes. Alrighty, set that there. Now, we've got to get some next step. We're going to take some pliers, grab this nut in here. I've already loosened it up. Go ahead and just keep it rotating. There we go. Now I can take it off. Set that to the side. Now, grab I'm just grabbing the valve itself on the back of here and I'm wiggling it out. It comes out just like that. Just like that. Got all those gross fuel lines on it. It's probably gummed up on the inside, that's why I went ahead and took it out. I'm gonna blow it out with the air compressor. And this comes off too, so you can just set that to the side. You don't have to worry about remembering which way this thing went, because it has this little hole in it that lines up with that hole. So like it won't even sit there unless you get it right on the hole, which would be right. See, I can't even get it. That's how hard it is to mismatch it. Okay. Now we're gonna go clean this. Okay. Here we are. We got this ready to be cleaned. Alright, we're here in the garage. Got the fuel selector valve. As you can see, this is why we take them out and clean them when we have the chance. So, I got my pick tool again. Just couldn't really find anything else to use. Just kind of breaking some of it up. Oh wow, that one has a lot in it. That one's pretty clear. This one has a little, and this one is just, I can't even put it in there. It's just so much in there. I'm gonna see if I can turn, got some pliers here. I'm gonna see if I can turn the valve some. That'll help me be able to get in there better. Helps a little bit. Now I'm going to take my air compressor with the little tip and you need eye protection on when you're doing this. Blow in this one, and then we'll turn the valve all the way the other way. Blow in here again, and it'll come out the other hole. Okay, that blew a lot of stuff out of it, but as you can tell, it's still on the outside, and then there's one of them in here that it's still just caked up on the inside. So what I've got here is a can of Chem Dip carburetor cleaner. I bought it at my local auto parts store. I think it was 30 bucks. I've used it a few times. It works pretty good. So I use it for all my carbs. I'll be using it for the carbs off of the Sea-Doo I'm rebuilding right now. And we'll see if it turns out okay. It usually works really good. Spoiler alert. See if I can do this without spilling all over the place. That's really stuck on there. Alright, it comes with this little dip basket. See if I can hold it up with my finger. Yeah, it's just got these holes in the bottom of it. I'm gonna put that in the dip basket, and we're gonna set it down in there. I'm gonna put the top on, and I'll hit it down in a second. I'm gonna let it sit probably about a day. All right, so this is what I'm doing. I got the oil tank over here, the gas tank over here. I bought some Purple Power. degreaser cleaning solution, and I just sprayed it all over it. I did it once on each of them and then sprayed it off, and I just let it put on there, set it on there again, and now I'm fixing to wash it off of both of them like for the last time. If I want to get them any cleaner, I can still get a magic eraser and scrub them. Look at that, it's just knocking all that dirt off. Now we're gonna go over the oil tank. Looking pretty good. All right, I've already cleaned the gas tank and most of the oil tank. I just got this one side of the oil tank left to do. Just put some purple power. I didn't dilute it at all. It's pretty funky in there. You can dilute it if you want to. I dilute it if I put it on the outside of my skis, but I usually don't dilute it for just parts and stuff like that. And my little Harbor Freight half-gallon pump sprayer. I just take it. It usually knocks the dirt off upon contact. That's how strong this stuff is. But if you let it sit about 5, 10, 15 minutes, then you can spray it off with a high pressure water hose, and it'll usually come pretty clean. See, like, still got a couple dirt spots here that probably aren't going to come off, but I can still try. I might take the magic eraser and knock the rest of that off just to make it super clean. I use purple power on all my parts. I use it on gas tank, oil tank, individual parts. I use it on the straps, outside of fuel filters, outside of the entire ski, just about everything. Even the trailer. It works for just about everything. It's not that expensive either. I think it's $16 for 2 gallons around here. I usually buy it in the 2-gallon form, sometimes 1 gallon if they're running on sale. But yeah, that's what I use to clean my gas tanks and oil tanks. See y'all next time. Okay, it's now been about a day, about 24 hours since we put the fuel selector valve in the chem lip. So we're gonna take it out because it's time to put the carbs in there. I usually don't leave them in there for 24 hours. I just didn't really have anywhere else to put it, so might as well leave it in there a little bit longer. I usually do a few hours, sometimes overnight, 12 hours-ish. Need gloves on for this because this is some nasty stuff. And you always want to get a rag and set it down. This stuff like actually eats through your skin, I'm pretty sure, or something like that. So you really don't want to get it on you. And if you have to, just like I'm doing my finger, like the most minimal amount. Shake some of it off. Shake as much of it as we can. Don't splash it everywhere. Okay. Now we're gonna set the parts basket down in there and get this. So point the camera here without dropping it. Well, that's not working. Thanks, camera son. Okay, got it out of there. We're gonna got our little pick here. It's got some of that blue-green stuff on it from when we did it before, but we're gonna probe it down in there, make sure there's nothing in there. Not really seeing anything. So next is the air compressor. Blow it all out. Okay, so this is what we got. This is fixing to go back in the jet ski so we can get it all cleaned up on the inside. Not worry about getting water in the rotary valve down there. I've put a piece of the new fuel line on the pulse fitting from the crankcase. It had some green goo in it, so I got a drill bit that's about the same size, and I just kind of ran it around in there. It all came out, I think. So I also replaced this focus, this oil hose, when I was in there. It's just, they don't really sell, it's 1/2 inch. They don't really sell 1/2 inch fuel lines, so that's 1/2 inch heater hose. And you also want to put this on before you put it in too. This is the oil line that goes to the oil pump. And I already put the filter on it and just kind of plug the end of it up here. You want to do that because it's kind of hard to get to once it's in there. This is 5/16. I did use fuel line for this because it's just what the local store had. It's like $2 a foot. This is my brand new WSM oil filter that I got from eBay, I think maybe. I think it was $8. So yeah, got all our new oil injection fittings clamped on there. All that's left, all our carbs are set back to stock, minus the auto. You can't really set that until it's running. But fixing to throw back in there and get it hooked up. Okay, I got it in. That was tough to do. This one and this one actually went in pretty easy. This one was hard to get started, but once you get it started, it's easier. That one down there was just hard all the way around. Best way I found to do it was you had to take all these hoses and move them up as far this way as you can. That way you can reach your hand back down in here and just barely screw it in just a little bit at a time. And then get the wrench and just go a little bit at a time. You'll want to tighten it, all these three up as much as you can, and then put that last bottom corner end down here, because that way it'll be straight. You definitely don't want to start with that one. All right, now I'll probably hook this pulse line up, put a clamp on it, shorten that line a little bit, and then take the drain plug out of the back, because all these skis, drain plugs, that little rubber kind, and they usually get pretty stuck in there. So I'm gonna try to take that out. And I think I'm gonna wash her out. Should be good to go. Nothing open. I stuffed these rags in the carbs. That way no minimal amount of water gets in there. I mean, if some gets in there, it's fine. You just gotta crank your engine over, which I'll do anyways, just in case something gets in there. But yeah, to get rid of that water that'll get in there, just take the plugs out, crank it over some. It'll be all right. Yeah, I'm gonna get her cleaned up.